Hello everyone, I'm Colin. Today's a little bit of a reveal day. Today I'm going to let you in on a little bit of a secret. Some of the things that have been going on here in WoodWorkWeb behind the scenes. So have a look here. Yes, I got myself a CNC machine. Now, if you've been following my channel, you'll know that a few months ago, Paul and I did a joint video where he showed us his CNC machine and how it worked, and his laser cutter and how it worked. And I got quite intrigued on all the different things that you could do with a CNC machine. And I thought, I'd really like to take my woodworking to a little different level and see what I could do with it. Now, what I didn't know by watching other videos of CNC machines and talking to Paul, one of the things that you need to learn how to do, I'm able to move it around up and down and all of those sort of things, but where I'm having the biggest challenge is actually drawing things. Now, there's lots of patterns that you can purchase and not very much that really interests me, so I need to make my own patterns for the CNC to follow. So I'm having a bit of a challenge learning how to draw on the computer and sort of make the plans for that. But I want to show you today two things. I'm going to show you what I've already accomplished, and I'm going to show you some ideas of where I'm going and what I'm going to do with this in the future. Now remember, this is a big learning experience for me. So I started off, I needed to do something small, and I'm learning how to draw things. So I thought I'll make a push stick. And you can see I didn't set the bit deep enough, so now I have a lovely 3D picture of a push stick and a piece of plywood. But I did figure it out, and I did make the push stick. And if you look at it, you'll see that it's a little different in the front from what I've been using. And the whole purpose of that is to be able to, once you've pushed your wood through the saw, is to be able to, if you've got little pieces that you can flick away, that's what that would be for. So I'm still working on that design, and I didn't like this one because after I made it, I realized it's too small. So I made a bigger version of it, and I'm still not in love with this design, but it feels good in my hand, and it's big, and it's easy to hold on to. So I'm sort of working on that, still working on that. So another work in progress. And this machine, they're not as perfect as we'd like them to be. And here's an example. I thought, well, I'd make a sign and just try some sign making skills. And when you look at that, you think, oh, that looks pretty good. But if you look closely, you'll notice that the K and the S there, they kind of overlap. So there's little things that I have to learn because the system is not necessarily the perfect system, so I need to change bits or something there. So that's sort of some of the things that I've already been working on. And this is another thing that you'll be interested in. So I thought making things for jigs would be a great thing for a CNC machine to do. And of course, making knobs is one of them. And this one, I've actually put the T-nut in the back. And I've got more material here that I can cut more when I need them. So all I need to do is set the machine up and plug it in, and I can cut two more knobs quickly and easily, just like that. But then I wanted to do more, and I've actually taken the same pattern, and look at this, I'm actually cutting out on plexiglass, which you can do with a router, and you can do without a CNC machine, but it just makes it so much easier with a CNC machine. So I'm working on that, and I'm going to show you more on what I'm going to do with this in a moment. And here's some more ideas, some things that I want to do. Now here's something, now I've already made this, so obviously you don't need a CNC machine, but you know what? You could make something much more elegant than this with a CNC machine, and cutting the slot in there would be easy. So just little things like that, little tools, little jigs and accessories. This is something that I use on one of my jigs, actually on a few of my jigs, and it's just kind of a hold down, but sometimes this part is a little bit too short, and it would be nice to have a variety of 2 or 3 different sizes, different little bit longer arms on it. So there's another thing that I'm working on designing, drawing pictures of, and making them a little bit bigger. And this is another jig that I've made for my trim router. And what would be really handy with this again is a jig that you can easily make without a CNC machine. But you know what would be really handy is to be able to have a plan for the template of the trim router, so that when I take the plate off it and attach it to another jig, that I can just put that piece of plastic in there and all of those holes will get drilled, so that I don't have to sort of recreate it every time. So those are just a few of the things that I'm working on. And one of my big projects, all of you will recognize this as the blade guard for my table saw, and this one actually works fine. It has the splitter and the anti-kickback pawls, but what I find with this, it's on, as you all know, it's on the machine, it's off the machine, on and off. And what I thought would be really handy for my machine especially is to have a blade guard that I can just lift, just push the whole thing up by about 2 feet and get it right out of the way, and that way I could use my riving knife in there, and I could leave it in there all the time. And when the blade guard, when I'm doing vertical cuts and so on, I can just move that blade guard up and it's out of the way. And so I'm creating a different, using plastic, and that's the reason that I wanted to be doing something in plastics, because I can actually create this and cut this out on the CNC machine and then practice with a few different shapes and sizes and so on and I also, this one doesn't have one, but I also wanted to put attach a hose to that, to my dust collector. So lots of neat things that I'm working on. I just need a bit more time and a bit more experience. And the more I work with this machine, the more I understand it and learn how to use it, the more interest I have in things that it can do. So I have to kind of curb my enthusiasm, because I think there's some pretty neat things that we can do with these. And a lot of that can be transferred to hand routers and router tables. So this just gives me some ideas on creating things that I think will be a little bit easier and maybe a little bit interesting for you to watch as well. That concludes my video for today. I'm Colin for WoodWorkWeb, and stay tuned to see some CNC stuff sometime in the future.